Hey everyone, welcome to the Live with Sondra show. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, growth. If you're an attraction or a business and you're ready to boost foot traffic by 30 to 60%, you're going to want to stay right here. We're joined by somebody who's mastered the art of target marketing and community connection. And she's going to share the secrets to driving real measurable foot traffic in your attraction. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's roll the intro. All right, welcome back to another episode of Live with Sondra. I'm your host, Sondra Shannon. And today we're diving deep into the secrets of driving real, measurable foot traffic growth in your attraction or business through smarter, more targeted marketing. Before we jump in, though, I want to talk about our sponsor, GateMaster Technology. For 30 years, GateMaster has been the trusted all-in-one ticketing and point-of-sale partner for attractions worldwide. From online sales, season pass and memberships, mobile ordering, and so much more, including real-time reporting, GateMaster helps you run smarter, sell more, and create exceptional guest experience. So thank you today to GateMaster for powering today's conversation. Now, I cannot wait for you to meet today's guest. In fact, we just had a little conversation backstage, and it's not often I go, hey, I can already tell we're going to be friends. But I'm very excited about today's show because she is redefining what it looks like to strategically grow and what that really looks like. Chelsea Werner, and I'm sorry, Chelsea, if I got that wrong. I meant to ask you, so please correct me when you come on here, is the Director of Key Partnerships at Raydius, and she's a grassroots marketing strategist and powerhouse. Over the last 7 years, she's helped both corporations and small chains boost revenue through smarter partnerships and tailored events. And she's built a reputation for connecting communities no matter from nonprofit special needs families to local moms groups. And here's something fun. When she's not running campaigns or building partnerships, she's diving into her newly found passion of call of duty for collaboration and writing poetry, songs that fuel, all of which fuel her creativity. So please help me welcome Chelsea to the show. Chelsea
Werner.
I was thrilled to have you here today. Hello. Did I get that right? I always,
You said Werner perfectly. It's so much better than my old last name. I most people say it right, so thank you for checking. But you're in good territory.
Okay, good. That makes me happy because you know what, I'm very sensitive to that because I have 2 first names.
You sure do.
Yes, and even today I was on calls. I think I got called Shannon probably 20 times, and if I'm not getting called Shannon, I get called Sonia. So I always, that's important to me to make sure that I get that right. So, yay, I got it right today.
No problem.
But we have to start with a couple of things. One, Call of Duty. I love that you use gaming for collaboration and relaxation. And, I'm curious, how that teamwork mindset has influenced you to build real world partnerships.
Okay, that's such a great question, Sondra. Every question is so thoughtful from you. It's a lot. So Call of Duty was a thing that I figured out when I was starting off with Raydius, and we all work remotely, so we're not anywhere near each other. So a lot of times, like, I'm on the West Coast, but most of them are on the East Coast. So a lot of what we do is just trusting each other to have each other's backs. And that's a lot of Call of Duty for you. So, I am a level 487 prestige master, so that's pretty high up there. It levels out at 1,000. I've been going
Wow.
pretty hard since December, so I'm on my way there. But yeah, it definitely reminds me of how much other people have to carry to make our what we do at Raydius work, and it's a really great partnership, and I absolutely adore the people I work with, and I trust them so much with what we do.
You know, that is so cool. Like, I thought you were just playing with friends. I didn't even realize you were playing with your team at work. And thank you for answering that question. I do believe in those types of collaborations with teams. In fact, during the pandemic, I started playing poker in
Oh,
VR meta with
oh, okay.
people that I
Uh-huh.
worked with, and
Oh,
because we couldn't be together, right?
at
And
least you can't show your poker face that way, because that's why I can't play. So cool.
well, you know what? I had to learn how to play poker because I
Yeah,
didn't
it's not
play very much.
easy.
But you know what? I've been going to these WWA. There's a WWA fantasy football league
Oh,
that we've kind of been a part of for years. And every year at the World Water Park Association, we do a poker party. And
oh,
I think it was 2 years ago. I'm not gonna be able to make it this year, but 2 years ago, I beat the year before's champion. So I was pretty happy about that.
oh
But
my gosh.
it is,
And
to your point, it's cool to play with people you work with.
yeah. So, I will have to invite you to the FEC operators group. They also have a fantasy football league, so we can talk about that offline.
Ooh.
But I would love to invite you to that. It's pretty big, and it just got started this year. So
Wow,
you can
how
join.
cool is
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So let's do it.
I love that. Well, let me just say this. Today's session is called The Secret to 60% More Foot Traffic, right? Or
Yes.
60% foot traffic growth. I'm like ad-libbing this a little bit, but
No,
Chelsea,
it's okay.
I know you've helped attractions achieve this kind of success. And we were talking
Yes.
earlier about how you started doing that. And I know
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot again because
It's
I
okay.
really loved hearing your story. Yeah, at
Okay.
least your story about how you started in FECs, because and let me just tell the audience this, why I loved hearing your story and wanted you to share that. I know you didn't intend to do that, is because you're showing people that path to professional success that so many of us also have experienced. And I love hearing these stories. Do you mind sharing
Oh,
them?
yeah. Oh, I don't mind at all, and I never really thought about it as being that cool of a story until we're talking right now, but in high school, I took auto shop, and it just turned into a love of welding where I learned it at, and then, it led me to live in other states in the country where I followed my mom, and eventually I was working locally as a welder, but I had to take in my nephew as my son. So when I got him, he started kindergarten at noon, and I started work at 5 in the morning, so I had to figure out, okay, I need to do another industry or something that I can work with his schedule. So I found a marketing company that I started working for. And on Wednesdays, every day, and this still is true for this school year, and it will be forever, every Wednesday is a half day in our school district. So the kids have to go somewhere, and I still have to keep working. Well, I would take my son to the local FEC, which was at the time Uptown Jungle in Marietta. And I would work from there. And eventually I started taking pictures. I got a good Yelp review up there for them. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be in this like outreach group, and they hired me as their sales coordinator after that. So,
I love
um
stories like this. You know why I love
yeah.
stories like that? First of all, you touched on something that really resonates with me because I have 3 kids. And I can't tell you what a lifesaver having places that my kids could be entertained and be
Yeah.
active and where they enjoyed to go really helped me, especially when they were young and I still had to work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I became CEO of my company when I was pregnant with my 3rd kid, which is
Oh.
crazy. Nobody does that. But it was
Yeah.
very, it was very difficult
Yeah.
to balance that all. So I certainly appreciate that part of it. But I also love because I know one of the things that you talk about is grassroots
Yep.
marketing, and
Hmm.
there's nothing more grassroots than getting the Yelp review,
Yep.
getting the job, and and then the rest is history. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today.
Yeah, it's really a fun part of how I got into a profession I had no idea that was gonna lead to that, you know? So it's absolutely I love FECs. I think about them all the time when I was a kid and where I used to go when my mom would take us places or if I was on a visit with my dad. And like they really are important to like your kids' memories,
Yeah,
their history. So I love this industry. I do. I do.
the best job ever. We were talking too because we were both at the IAPA meetup at
Mhm.
Legoland in California,
Yeah.
and we were mentioning about how like we literally had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah, it
And
was so
what
cool.
a cool experience that was to be able to learn about what they're doing over at Legoland, and also the parade, learning about the parades and how that came to be. I mean, it's
So
so
cute.
inspiring, but also like I'm not gonna lie, I can't tell you how many times I looked around and was like, I cannot believe how lucky we are in this
I know.
and to be here right now. Nobody gets
And
to have those kind of experiences.
yeah, like I felt very proud of my job at that moment because
Yeah.
I was like, what a cool park this is, you know?
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times during the year I say, "Do we not have the best job ever?"
Yes, yes.
Right?
It's such a fun place to be all the time, even with its challenges. But let's talk about those.
Yeah, let's talk about them. So, I'm curious if you can tell the audience, how can attractions, I'm just diving right in,
Yeah.
replicate that 30 to 60% foot traffic increase? And I believe you do that using mobile ID targeting.
Yes, it's super interesting and it's very powerful stuff. So it's targeting your mobile phone. It's actually working off some of the apps that you already give locations to. Let's just say when your flashlight turns on, it asks you if you want to turn on your location. It's
Ah,
mobile ID tracking to that actual. So it's very accurate data that we're getting.
okay, cool. Because I was going to ask you about mobile ID targeting. I wasn't quite sure. I knew that that was something you were going to surprise us with on the show, but I wasn't quite sure how we were using that ID targeting. But beyond kind of the raw numbers, how should operators measure the ROI compared to like broader digital advertising? And I think before you kind of answer that, what I would love to know is like with that mobile ID targeting, how does it work? Like, and
Okay.
you kind of explained how we get the data
Yeah.
transfer, right? But, how do we measure or how do we, you know what? Let's just tell us how it works because
Yeah.
I need to know.
No, it's really interesting. So basically, every brick and mortar place has two problems, and it's they don't know where the people are coming from, and they don't know if they have reliable marketing because they have no way to measure that ROI. So by using this tracking system that we have through mobile ID tracking, we can pinpoint where people are coming from, see their visitor impact in your store, and see that they're coming from these zip codes. But we can also see your competitors too. Um,
Wow.
there's a few things that you can do to use that competitor data. That's going to be a lot of work if you're going to have to do that all on your own. Um, we use a program called Placer AI, and it's very, very valuable. It partnered with all these separate third-party data apps to get us this information, including census data, and it's really accurate, like I said. So let me start over. We are able to tell them where the visitors are coming from and are able to measure the ROI. Um, because we only work with family entertainment centers, we're able to innovate like our own kind of strategy, and we call it the visitor generation system. And it has three key parts. And one of them is visitors, the second one is strategy, and the third one is impact. Visitors is where we start to uncover high opportunity and underperforming areas. by reviewing where the guest and your competitors' guests are coming from. This program will show us zip codes down to, I don't know, less than 1,000 people, and all the way up to, I've seen 2.5 million visits from one zip code alone. That's where
Wow.
we're talking about California, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, we are able to show you guys that. So visitors is where we show you all that information. Okay, we layer in the demographic that you're looking to get into, and then growth data to identify where the strongest marketing opportunities are. Then using a strategy where those areas are identified, we deploy a mix of digital and local, like boots on the ground stuff, where it's more grassroots, like what I do. Everything from meta event ads to local sponsorships and awareness and campaign stuff like that. So, and the last one is impact. We measure the visitor growth by going over your numbers year over year, campaign performances, and ROI by tracking whether those targeted regions that we reached out to are actually starting to show up in your visitor data. So once we find and identify those zip codes, we are going to want to target our marketing to those zip codes that are showing the most potential visits. Okay. So if anyone was going online and saying, hey, I want to go, okay, like family entertainment near me, I do that constantly, especially when I'm on the road and traveling, because I want to see what's around me.
Sure.
And it's just like, if I could go on a world tour, I would. But I always look up family entertainment centers near me, and it's going to come up with bowling, it's going to come up with laser tag, it's going to come up with movie theaters, it's going to come up with eatertainment. Eatertainment are those newer kind of, let's say, mini golf places with a theme, but it's also a restaurant, stuff like that. So any of those potential visits, if we want to see where those visitors are coming from for them too, so that we can target to their audience as well, because they're looking for something to do and you're one of those things to do.
Very cool. Well, I'm curious, and you might have already answered this a little bit, of all of those trends, which one kind of gives the FECs or attractions a clear forecast of visitor trends?
Okay, so we can look at online bookings and ticket sales. All right, that's one way that you can look into it. But other than that, we have walk-in ticket, like forecasting what you've had in the past. You need to look at your seasonality calendar and stuff like that. And then your event performances. So have you been boosting certain things on your Facebook, on your Meta? Are you boosting these opportunities? Are you seeing an increase in these events? And then again, like I mentioned, seasonality, because it is, we have somewhat of a season. You can prepare for it with grassroots marketing. That's my favorite thing. But that's how you produce your own seasons without having to depend on what a normal yearly seasonality trend would be. That's why I come in with, let's make a Halloween costume swap event. I did that with one of my mom groups, and that was where we set up a few different time frames where age group of kids came in and dropped off their used Halloween costume, and then they could swap with other kids. And it was really successful and super fun. And we also did arts and crafts and stuff. So those are the type of events that you can bring in additional things. Sorry, I got off topic a little bit.
No, actually, I love that because I know that so many of these family entertainment centers and attractions, and I will say that, that's why so many of them do offer Halloween, you're seeing things like they're moving into Halloween attractions or Christmas attractions. But what I love about what you suggested is you're using community outreach to also create, the visitation, and you're doing something really great for people, which is awesome. And I really love and appreciate that, because I think that that's something that's really important for our industry, to not only give people these great experiences, but also pour into our communities and give back.
It's so easy if you just, if they're open, if you're a FEC and you're open with your community about opportunities to work with them, they will come screaming to you, and those are all potential visits. Okay, so let's get those potential visits in the door.
Yeah, I love that. And it does sound like you've been amazing at building bridges between attractions and community organizations. Yeah, is that Chuck?
That's the man. That's Chuck.
That's awesome. Chuck's on our YouTube watching, so we had to give a shout out. Um, but I know you've been amazing at building these bridges, and I'm curious how attractions can integrate that into, more nonprofits or special needs families and still have a profitable sales strategy around that. And I know you kind of mentioned the event, but I'm curious,
That's
how
one.
does that impact the attractions?
That's just one event, there's so many things you can do. So, um, basically, I do have a passion for special needs families. It's something that I've come to love with this industry. They're really looking for a safe space to be at. Um, so let's just start from the top. Community involvement and profitability are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they strengthen each other.
Yeah.
And I wish everyone had that mindset, because I truly believe that rising tides raise all ships. I have it on my LinkedIn. I truly mean it. So if you want to start with that, let's start there. And then we want to be present. We want to attend chamber mixers. We want to go and be a part and know those people. Okay. That's one way that you guys can get in with your community. The chamber is such a wealth of knowledge. There's so many people that want to work with you. And for the most part, it's not that expensive. And for FEC owners, they count one employee as a part-time employee. You don't count them. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track.
Well, you know what I love about you mentioning the
The chamber.
the chamber is that especially because in my FEC, we used to host the chamber events. Like, it was such a great
Oh, yes.
opportunity to have
Uh-huh.
the
You're a big
entire chamber
place.
coming out. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
a little laser tag place. But I'll
How
tell you, it was
fun.
the funnest event they got to do all year, right?
Yeah, heck yeah, it was. And they always want to come back, huh?
Yes, they want to come back. And it was such a great way for us to meet people. The other thing that I like that you mentioned about the chamber is, these are all businesses. So it's very business
Yeah,
focused. They don't mind if you're pitching your business. In
a
fact,
little
they
bit.
expect
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And a lot of people are afraid of that pitch,
No,
but they shouldn't be.
not at a chamber mixer. We're all there
Right.
to talk business. Literally, we're all there to talk shop. So that's one way. But then you want to get involved with nonprofits. You want to identify nonprofits in your area that what you maybe align with what you feel. That's what I did,
Sure.
because I am a foster mom. I met a foster company, a nonprofit company that assists with any additional needs that foster kids might need, like shoes for soccer games or stuff like that. And they would do Christmas events. So I met with them and I got them to do this special event where it was, we brought reptiles in, and we brought the reptiles in and we had
Oh,
two show times, and the first show time would go on with the reptiles, and then when they were done they would go out for the next hour and play, and then while that group was playing the next group would come in and watch the reptiles, and then they would go on to play for another hour. And I sold out one of those time slots all to her foster children. So then we got a group event out of that, and then from there we had this sponsored tree in our facility where people could grab a tag and adopt one of the foster kids to shop for Christmas.
oh,
So
that's
that was just, yeah, it was amazing. It was my favorite ever. And we did such good numbers that year, like with their organization, like how many kids we got adopted. That's what I was the most proud of. We got a couple groups out of it too, but it was that relationship that we built, and I really cherish it. And it's followed me to all the different places I've worked. They've always kept wanting to work with me. So it's really all about the relationships. I want all these business owners to know that you can make a difference when you connect with these people. It will make a difference in who comes in because it's organic. It's organic.
Chelsea, I love everything you're saying, and I want to go back a little bit to what you said about families of who have family members with disabilities. I don't know
Yes.
if that's something that I'm very passionate about too. Have you been to Morgan's Wonderland?
No, where is that?
It's in San Antonio, Texas, and it's a park that was built by a man who had a daughter with special needs, and it's just the most magical place because not only is it run by people who may have special needs or disabilities, but it's also designed where every inch of that place is accessible to everyone.
Oh,
And
wow.
it is such I gotta say, it was like one of the best experiences I've had in a park. You just knew you were in a really special place and that everyone was being included, which I think is
Yeah.
really a project that I'm a part of at Outlier. Really, what our goal is to get people to be together, right?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, if
It's
if you have somebody who can't ride a certain ride, you know, you're not together, and that's not
yeah.
always what we're looking for. But in addition to that, there is a there is a economic reason to address
Yes.
this, right?
Yes,
Because
because they're looking. They need
yes,
safe places. So, okay, for example, what I did was I had started a Thursday morning in the summer, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., only special needs families, and I only advertised to mom groups and the special needs groups on Facebook. We had like flyers in the location, but I mean, it was all grassroots. I did everything on Canva as much as we all hate Canva and love Canva at the same time. I was able to reach an entire group that slowly over summer built up to be this really large following of special needs families that look forward to Thursday morning every week. And it ended right when summer ended, and I didn't get to see it move forward, but that was a really successful group that I got to start, and I was super proud of it. Like, we started with a sensory room so that if the kids got overwhelmed, they could go into one of the party rooms where I had a lot of toys and stuff like that for them to calm down and be in a dark, more inclusive space for them. And then out there, it was just a little bit more, balls to the wall.
yeah, no, I love this. I hope the FECs listening see not only what it can do to get the foot traffic, like you've been talking about, like how do we get more foot traffic in there? Because now you're exposing yourself in terms of the business to other people that maybe wouldn't think that your place is a place for them.
Yeah, yep,
And you did that because you reached out to
directly to
groups
them.
on Facebook,
Yep,
which I promise you, there's a lot of FECs out there not even thinking about the moms groups on Facebook. That's brilliant,
yep,
by the way. I think
always.
it's brilliant.
Be
Just
involved.
yeah,
They wanna be heard. They're our biggest advocates. They're our little micro influencers. Mom
yes.
groups are where it's at. I When we opened our park in Hemet, it was 2 years ago, the first event that I had was a mom group only event before we opened our doors even to the normal public. We had them come in, and we had a line that wrapped around the building. It was out of control. It was
Wow.
a really great opening day for us. It was like our not our technical opening day, but it was our first group event, and it was outrageous. It was
I
an
love that.
amazing event. Yeah,
I love
I
this.
think
I love this. And I think these are actionable steps that people can take right now.
absolutely,
Connect with
absolutely.
your local mom groups, guys. That is like
So
that's gold,
easy.
Chelsea.
It's so easy and fun too, and then you're the coolest mom in the whole group. You really are, because 'cause you're the guy that knows the guys that run that place, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Well, I'm curious, just kind of going back to innovation and events and growth. What are, how do managers use these strategic partnerships with local organizations to build sustainable growth over time? And you've given us some really great examples, but I also want to add that, what is the one messaging that they can use to maybe how would you approach this, I guess, is what I'm asking. How should they approach the conversation with, let's say, moms groups or charitable groups that they want to partner with?
I'm such a I'm such an open person. I'm just really honest with them and say, "Hey, look, I'm looking to connect us so that we can be friendly with each other. You guys have a safe place to have your events. I've got consistent groups coming in." I've always been very transparent with what my intentions are so that it's not coming off as like a one-way, because this is a relationship I'm building. I'd like to build
Yeah,
this relationship with you, and I know what can come out of it, but it's for your benefit as well. I
right.
honestly come to them knowing that the benefit is they have a safe place to come play and socialize and just not have to clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Be in
yes, I
community, with other people. I think it's such a great thing that you're offering when you do something like this.
yeah, free
I
community.
Yeah, and you've answered so many of the questions that I have with regards to this. I'm curious what I want to just know a little bit more about Raydius.
Okay, so what Raydius does is really cool. There's nothing like it that I've ever seen. We are able to use targeted marketing to directly influence ROI to bring those dollars back from your marketing. Um, so we're able to use a targeted um, software that's able to come up with the zip codes where you're seeing less traffic, where you're seeing more traffic, and your competitors' traffic data. It's really interesting. I wish I could, everyone listening, I wish I could show you what we do physically right now, just so you know, all know this.
So what that
But
means is you guys need to get a call in with Chelsea so you can
yeah,
see this.
because I can pull it up for anybody. Give me at the most 5 days and I can get your report back to you. But it's absolutely incredible. We offer them for free to all FEC locations in the country. This is just something that we do to add value, because even if you don't work with us, there are actionable things that you can do with the data. We're going to give you those zip codes that are going to tell you where the visitors are coming from, where they're down, and we're going to tell you where the most potential visits were for that entire year. Over an entire year, we're going to show you how many visitors came from those zip codes and then where else they went over those times, and where they could have gone is another opportunity where they could have gone to you.
I
So
love
that's why we want to target to that demographic as well. um, and then after that, we plug it into different strategies: social media, Meta, Google Ads, SEO, um, targeted marketing through SMS and email campaigns, and then grassroots stuff like what I was talking about.
Yeah,
That
I
is
love it.
all a part of what we do. And we encourage every owner to think like an owner that loves what they do. If this is an industry for fun, let's make it fun. Raydius has a tagline of "We want a billion smiles." We truly want a billion smiles. It's something that we've been working on for a few years, and it's a little bit of a teasing point for me and my boss when I take in group sales and they want to bargain with us, and I have to go back to my boss Chuck and say, "Hey Chuck, what about those billion smiles we talked about?" And then and then they win their budget. So it's
I love that.
that's something that we truly believe, because it's not, we're here for the numbers, but we're here for the smiles too.
Yeah. No, that is I love that. I love that purpose that you guys have, a billion smiles on people's faces. And, this has been such a fun and insightful conversation. I really love how you're blending these strategies, the data, and the heart, right?
Yeah,
That you drive for real growth in attractions, which is really, really cool. And I can tell you love what you do and the
I
people you
do.
do it for. And that is like why I love this industry. It's very rare I run into somebody who does not love what they do. And in fact, how can
Yeah.
you not love what we do? So, that's always such a fun part of this show for me, is getting to meet people like you. And I see so much value in what
Thank you.
you are talking about for FECs, especially as an FEC operator. That's how I got
Yeah.
my start. I don't know if you know that about me.
No, I
I
didn't.
operated a QZAR in Santa Clarita, California.
Oh,
Back in the late '90s. I know this is going to make me sound old because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago for me. But I know there are people probably listening that weren't even around in the '90s, so it does sound a long time ago.
oh
But
no. I hope they're not that young.
but I ran a FEC, and to your point, even back then, I had families. You remember there was an old '80s actor, C. Thomas Howell, I think was his name. I loved him. This definitely dating me, but he would bring his kids to every Thursday because
Oh,
he was at the time he was still a famous actor. I mean, I'm sure he's older now. He was in Soul Man, like the '80s movie. Do you know what I'm talking about? And a
no.
few others. But he would bring his kid every Thursday, and I would open up the facility for him so he could have it. And I do recognize how often parents need our family entertainment centers, and it's a part of their families, like weekly or monthly activities, and it's so important that we be able as businesses to find those people, which is
Yeah,
what's really cool about
yeah,
what Raydius is doing. And I do want to encourage our audience who's either watching today or listening to get in touch with you. And if they are
yes.
looking to get in touch with you, Chelsea, what is the best way they can do that?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn as Chelsea Werner. I would love for you to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Um, do I put my phone number out there?
That's up to you.
I don't mind.
Hey, if you want the calls, put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, please call me. My number is 951-801-0262. I would love to talk to you about it. And I can, like I said, I can generate a report within 5 days. So just give me a little bit of information. I can even tell me your favorite competitor or your favorite frenemy in the industry, and let's look up their numbers too and give you a better idea of where your visitors are coming from.
I love that. Well, hey, I've got some people for you. I need to send
Okay.
your
Oh,
way.
do you?
I do. Especially
Okay,
after this
cool.
conversation, I'm like, okay, this, and this gate master client might need to contact you because this is great
Okay.
information.
And
So,
we integrate with a lot of different companies, and that's how we track your RI and make it very, very accurate. So I would love to talk to you about integration. Just to
hey,
interrupt you, I'm so sorry.
no, you got it. I love that. Hey, listen, I love when we get to like make these kind of connections on this show. That's why I do
Yeah,
the show. Partially why I do it. I mean, I do it because I love the information that's being shared, and I think that the more that we share
me
information
too.
with each other, our industry just rises, right?
Yeah,
I've
yep,
been in this industry for a very long time. Not a lot of people have been here since the late '90s, but I've seen the full evolution of it, and it always goes back to relationship and people being innovative
yep.
like you. And
Thank you.
I love the grassroots stuff. I think that
Oh
that
yeah.
is like everyone should take advantage of what they can do right now.
I agree. Like I really hope that if anyone takes anything from this, it's community involvement pays off more than you'll ever have to put out. Like I promise you. Let those people ask you for a donation. Let those people ask you to set up a booth in your location just to advertise their nonprofit, something like that. They will come back to you when they need a group event. It's so amazing to see what connections can bring.
Yeah,
There
I
we
love
go. Thank you, Maria.
Well, hey, I do so appreciate you being here today. And like I said, I really love this conversation, and I love how open and transparent you were about all the information that you've been successful at, and not a lot of people will share that. And
Oh,
that's what this show is about transparency and people who
yeah.
are doing big things and telling their stories. And I really appreciate you telling your story,
Thank you, Maria.
sharing it with me. And
Oh,
I mean
Sondra.
it. I mean it when I said I was like the first 5 minutes we were talking, I knew we were going to be friends. So if there's ever anything I can do for you, you let me know. But in the
Thank you,
meantime,
Sondra.
I will see you maybe on a future show or an event.
Oh, I will. I'll see you at IAPA, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to see you at IAPA.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna see you at IAPA then.
All right. Well, thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate you. I'll see you then.
Bye, everyone.
Well, I have to just give my final thoughts here because I think Chelsea is uh, absolutely lovely. And the things that she shared, I think, can translate across even adjacent industries to the FEC. So I hope you really appreciated that information, as well as, just her thoughts on how we can reach out to our communities, pour into our communities. And, the thing is if you are, I have a saying, like my job is to make sure everyone around me is successful. And if you are an FEC organization that can host these events or collaborate with your community, what a cool thing. And what a cool thing to do. And you're also making the people in your community more successful, right? Which is should be the goal. And love the Billion Smiles with Raydius and the cool, innovative stuff that they're doing. I'm really excited to learn more about that myself. So, of course, a big thank you again to our sponsor, Gatemaster Technology, for making today's show possible. If you're ready to grow your attraction smarter and create seamless guest experiences from ticketing to the turnstile, visit gatemaster.com and see how they can help you power your attraction successfully. Thank you for tuning in to the Live with Sondra show. And until next time, keep innovating, keep connecting, keep building experiences that guests will never forget. Billions of smiles. And I will see you next time.